Imagine users are able to get to their applications, applications are able to communicate with databases and no problems. Then all of a sudden, there's a problem. We don't know what's going on and we need to figure this out. This is where we could use tools like VPC Flow Logs. Today's topic is us working with flow logs to be able to identify any issues. You could send flow logs to S3, right, for historical data. You can send flow logs to Cloudwatch logs. There are cases where you could use, you can forward the data to Splunk. So flow logs is great. I use it all the time. So behind the scene, I am going to use 3 services to create our flow logs. First one is going to be Cloudwatch. The reason for Cloudwatch is we're using Cloudwatch to create the logs, right? Create the log groups. The reason we need log groups, think of them as a bucket or a folder where you need to store data. So for us here, we need 2 log groups, one for each VPC. And I keep it very simple. The name of each log group is just the name of the VPC. The second service is going to be IAM. And the reason we need IAM is because with IAM, we need to create a policy to allow the VPC to write flow logs to CloudWatch. And then we also need to create a role. Of course, that's the role that we are going to now reference into EC2 service when we are creating the flow logs. And again, 3 services, but we'll spin this up in one shot. That's the beauty of infrastructure as code. I am going to run this script, and I like to time things always. Right, while this is running, let's take a look at the console, right? So if I go into my console, let's see if it created one already. Not yet. Great. So you can see there's nothing here, no flow logs yet, because I am assuming now it's probably creating the log groups. That was the first thing to create. Not yet. So goal is it's going to create, I'm assuming now it's probably creating NAT gateways. Yes, it is. But we'll eventually end up with 2 additional log groups here. And then under IAM, nothing in yet. And same thing, I should also have a role starting with that as well. So while this is creating, I'm going to pause here and then come back to continue. All right, so we back. You can tell it took 19 minutes this time. And the reason is because the NAT gateways and the instance connect endpoints, they do take time. And we are actually creating them for both. You know, we have 2 VPCs that we're working with now. So we're creating, you know, the resources in both VPCs, which is taking time. So what I plan to do eventually is to break up this script, make it more modular, specific to VPC peering, but the shared resources like VPC, you know, different things, I'm going to place them into their own specific script files. That way, what this is going to do is going to make it more modular, and also is going to keep us from repeating ourselves. Like for example, maybe I want to use the VPCs referenced into this script into another script. Maybe I want to use it for transit gateways, for example. So what I want to do is have a separate script just for VPCs. That way, if I'm working with transit gateways, I can reference those same VPCs, which can be built once, right? So that's the beauty of coding. It's just trying to avoid repeating yourself. I have this ELB file script working on load balancers. All right, so enough for that. What we want to do is go to the console and see what we created. All right, you can see this has been created. Same thing for VPC2. Flow logs has been created. This is great. All right, here, let me refresh. There we go. We have both. Retention time, 1 month, 30 days. Let's go over to IAM. Let me refresh this. Nice. Flow logs role is there. Let me refresh. Hey, we have the policy. All right, everything looks good. Next step is to go to the console. EC. I'm gonna try to connect to the instances. Let me refresh. Yep, it is. All right. Connect. Okay, while that's connected, I'm gonna try to connect to VPC, to the instance of VPC2. Same process. We're using Instance Connect endpoints. Great feature. I can't say enough. So there's no need for me to use SSH to access my private instances. No need for bastion hosts sitting on a public subnet. Very cool. Okay, so what I want to do is I need to establish some traffic. And once we have some traffic, we can go to flow logs and see what that traffic looks like. Because that, and again, that's what we want to do. All right, what I'm going to do is use tmux. Hopefully it is there by default. Yes, it is. If you don't know about tmux, maybe I'll do a content on this, but please look it up. It's really nice. All right. I'm gonna set this one up as the server. All right, I forgot to say it was a module. Let me do this. So now we have this particular instance listening on port 5555. You know, if you didn't know, you can definitely turn your instance into an HTTP server listening quickly, right? With that simple command. And I'm going back to, so this one is 10.28.129. That should be it. So what I want to do next is I want to create a while loop for this. I guess we're going to be, I was trying to sleep this every second, but that's fine. I think I'll just spam it. There you go. So this is running. So the instance in VPC1 acting as a client, communicating with this one in VPC2, acting as a server. So let's go back. This is listening, great. And we are still sending data. What I could do here is I could send data to Google, for example. And here I could send data to this one. All right. Right now the aggregation time is 1 minute. Guess what? I'm gonna give it some time. I'm gonna pause here, allow us to have some data, and then we'll come back and look at the flow logs to see what it looks like and how to find this very specific traffic. So we'll get into that. All right, so we back here. Hopefully we have enough data. Let's go over the flow logs. Actually, I can access, well, let's do this. So here's the log group. I'm going to open this in a separate tab. We'll pick VPC1. And this is VPC 2. So if you're familiar with flow logs, flow logs is going to capture traffic leaving and reaching your interfaces. So here you have the log streams created for the interfaces that are currently present inside the VPC. So here you see it's like 4 interfaces. What I want to show is what I tend to do is go to search all log streams. You can go there, you can change the time. I'm not too worried about the time now because we just spun this up. So you can see there's some traffic there. Flow logs, you can find documentation on how to read it, but pretty much you have the version, right? That's the format version, the default format version, account ID, the ENI, right? That's the interface that received or sent the data. That's usually referenced there. The source IP address, destination IP, source port, destination port, the protocol 6, which is TCP. This is the number of packets. It was 1 packet for 60 bytes. That's the bytes. And then here you have the, if I remember correctly, start and end time, I believe. Yes. And then you have the action, accepted, and status. All right, so this is now the traffic we're interested in. As you can see here, we have some TCP traffic coming from this public IP to this. Most likely this is traffic initiated to the NAT gateways. And again, here we only see in the flow. And some of us sometimes do see this traffic and we think the NAT gateway is accepting this traffic. If you enable your flow logs with custom fields like TCP flag, you will find out that it is being reset. So it's a connection to maybe to the NAT, but if this traffic originated from the internet, is going to be denied with a reset. So the NAT gateway will, reply with the reset. Because that's one good note to remember, because sometimes you may run into this, seeing traffic coming from your NAT towards the IP. Actually, I'm saying NAT, but let me, let's confirm this. Is this the NAT 2125? Let's see. Just go to NAT gateways real quick. Right. Yeah, there we go. We have, yep. So confirmed, it is a NAT. That's what that is. All right, no worry about it. Now, I'm not too worried about it. But hopefully you remember that. You can turn on TCP flags to confirm, but it should be a reset if it is initiated from the public internet. Now, we want to focus on the traffic that we are sending, right? Remember, not this. Right now, we have a client here initiating traffic to a server in VPC 2, and we want to identify this traffic, right, in flow logs. Remember, visibility is the key. That's why we turn on flow logs. It's a problem. Something is going on. Something is not working. There's a client in VPC 1 saying, hey, I can't access my data in VPC 2. Something is going on. I'm not getting the data. What is wrong? Now it's up to us to identify this problem. So we bring in light into the darkness, right, with the VPC flow logs, right? So here we are. This is VPC 2. I'm focusing on VPC 1 first. First thing I always do is find out if the source is actually sending the data. For that, there's a special filter you can use here. And I'll bring it up. You'll have this filter in a description. So this will be in a description, no worries. So here, this filter is pretty straightforward, right? You need to have it as is. And all you need to do for the things that you need, just add equal and everything else. So here I'm looking for a destination port because yes, the application owners or the users said, hey, yes, I'm communicating to this application on port 555, TCP 5555, and the protocol 6 is TCP. Then nothing else, right? So all I want is capture data related to this destination port on a particular, for this TCP connection. So I'm gonna enter. All right, here we go. So interesting enough, it looks like some other sources are also using, interesting, 185. Yeah, that's interesting. Also use the same, that is funny. But you can see here, there's a lot of other data that we may not be interested in, right? So it looks like TCP 5555 is discussed, looks like other communications are using this as well. Now we can drill this down. What is the source? Okay, this is the destination. I'm looking for the source. The source here should be, okay. All right, I guess I need to get this from EC2. All right. So the source, which is in VPC1, this is the IP address. There it is. So here, that's the source address. I'm gonna paste that in, and I'm not done. I also want to paste the destination. I want to be very specific now because there's a lot more there are other traffic that I'm not interested in, right? It's just gonna add confusion. So now I want to grab the second instance, the destination, grabbing the IP. All right, destination. Now let's find this traffic. All right, so here's the traffic that we are interested in. We want to make sure traffic is actually going from the source towards the destination. And here it is. We have it here. We have the ENI. We can find out what the ENI is. You just go to EC2, network interfaces. This is going to be the source ENI. I'm not going to do it now, but just in case you wonder, yes, you take this ENI, go to EC2, and it's going to match. Now that I've said it, I'm curious, of course, I have to show it. So let's go to EC2. All right, network interfaces. And again, these are very important things to know, right? It just makes your troubleshooting skill much better in the cloud. So it looks like I didn't copy the ENI. Let's do Control-C. Let's go here. All right. Control-C. Should give me the IP. There you go. That's the source IP. So now you know that, okay, this data left this interface belonging to that instance. Now you have confidence. Now, all right, we see traffic leaving. And this traffic is leaving on this source port, but it's targeting TCP 5555 towards the destination. And it was accepted. Now you want to go to the other side and confirm receipt of this data. Just as you could confirm is the destination returning traffic, we can stay right here and confirm that. So what I can do is just reverse the traffic. I take this, replaces this. Oh, no event. Oh, you know why? The destination port. The return is going to be, it becomes the source. So the source port. All right, so now we have reversed the traffic to see if the destination is responding back to the source. And there it is, source 5555, and its traffic is accepted. This, from a networking point of view, we have data going back and forth between the two networks. The network has done its job, which is to deliver data, right? Going to the destination, and the destination network is returning that data back to the source. This is enough proof that from a networking point of view, things work. But we just still don't know what could be the issue. This is when you have to now do maybe a TCP dump on the source or destination to see if what is happening to this data. It could be an application problem, and you just move up the stack, right? You've confirmed layer 3 is working as expected. The network is good. Now you move up the stack. You can also confirm layer 4 is working. The transport looks like it's delivering the data, right? That's the fact. I shouldn't say it looks like. Fact is, it is delivering. Now you just move up the stack, right, to figure out what is happening. But hopefully this gives you a little bit of something to think about, something new maybe. Maybe you've never done this or never seen it done it this way before. But yeah, these are things to just know. It just adds to your troubleshooting skills. Now, there's one more thing I want to show you, which is cool, is Logs Insights, right? So let's go to Logs Insights. For Logs Insights, this gives you some sort of graphical view of, and again, shining more light into what you're looking for, right? Shining light is just giving you more visibility. Here you need to import what you need to import what you're looking for, which is the flow logs that you're working with. So here we worked with VPC1, and for the logs, I'm going to use this just to add diversity to it. So we're going to look into this log bucket. Is already a predefined filter there for queries. This uses the query language, pretty cool. It looks like we've added a query generator. That's new. Oh, this is nice. I'll have to play with this, find out what it can do. But here you also have examples, right? Always look around the console. There's like a not hidden, but you have different things you can use to figure out how to use a service. So here we're working with flow logs. Maybe I want to look at the top 10 byte transfers by source and destination, right? Just for fun, you apply it, and then you run a query. Look at that. So it gives you that little graph there. These are top stuff. There's not much going on, but this can be useful if you're investigating something. But yeah, this is pretty nice. It gives you the amount of bytes transferred, top 10 hosts. Not much going on, but you can see what's there. Now, there are also other filters you can, of course, I'm sure if you use this, I've not used this yet, but it's out of scope for this tutorial. But I do have my own filters as well. Let's apply this one. So I have one. It will be in the description as well. So there you go. I'm gonna make this 10, just simplicity. And we're looking for the sub bytes, right? Byte transfer between source by a specific destination instead. So here you can see any destination address matching these two, and the destination port is 5555, and the protocol is 6. I want to know about that. Let's run this query once. Okay, that's a problem. And the reason is, the reason is because I am looking for anything matching 1010, which is VPC1. We are looking at the log groups in VPC2. So that's not going to work. Let me find it. Where is it? There we go. All right, so it should be 1020. Let's try that. Let's run it. Hey, I love it. All right, this is working. And you can see there, what I like about what I just did with that filter above, I'm getting more, see that I have more keys up here. So I have source, I can know the source address, source port, destination port, the protocol, the packets, and those things. So that's pretty cool. Yep. This is the and again, these are tools, native tools available in AWS that you can use to monitor your network, to find out, figure out when something goes wrong, you need the light. You need the light into the darkness, right? You need to know what's going on. You want to be able to identify and have facts and have the confidence to troubleshoot. So knowing these tools or knowing how to do this, it's pretty cool. And of course, for me, the infrastructure as code mission continues. And I've used that to deploy this. And imagine this. Now we find out that, hey, this is working as expected. We have data. Something else is happening at the application layer. The network is fine. And maybe we no longer need this data, right? You've completed your troubleshooting and you don't need to keep flow logs running, right? Now, the next step is you can delete it. And of course, I do have a delete script for that. It's this one. I'm gonna run it. So the flow logs are deleted. Yeah. Yep. So both VPCs no longer have flow logs. Yep, the log groups are deleted as well. And everything related to the flow log configuration has been removed. And again, this is how you want to use this infrastructure as code for on-demand purpose. It's useful. It helps you save a few bucks if cost saving is a huge deal in your environment. And again, the purpose of flow logs is really for visibility, allowing you to see, getting more insight into the traffic that is happening inside your VPC. And of course, that is my mission is to really advocate for infrastructure as code. As you can see here, it's easy for me to deploy resources, delete them if I don't need them. And it makes me more efficient because once it is developed, it is confirmed to work. You can reuse these scripts as many times as you need to. And that's where it's really cool, right? I think for today's content, that's pretty much it. So we've used this to delete. In the next content, I'm going to try to break this up, make it more modular so it's easier for us to use just the resources that we need. Because right now, when we run this, we are deploying, everything, right? So that will be the next step of our mission, infrastructure as code. If you run into any issues, please drop a comment. Everything we went over today, the syntax, the filters, provided in the description. If you like this content, you think someone may find it useful, please share this content. And of course, subscribe while you're here. Thank you for that. That shows a lot of support. And again, my name is Pat at Maendeleolab. Until next time, salute.